It's a big schus we have here at Pinchas because tonight's the yartzeit from Satmar Rebbe, and Reb Pinchas, his father, was from Orshava, and so the sandik by the bris was the Rav of Orshava at the time, was later became Satmar Rebbe. So that's so they have a kosher to the Bali Lula, and it's a big schus, a big yichus there. So anyway, the Satmar Rebbe, he talked a lot about the Indian of kashrus, of food, and how important it was, to be strict about, and he didn't see it as a stringency. He saw it as ikar adin. In the Satmar Rebbe didn't believe in chumras. He believed in following ikar adin. They once asked Rav Soloveitchik from Yeshiva University some people were suggesting maybe to make some kind of a machoa against the Satmar Rebbe. He said, Chas v'sholom, Rabbi Soloveitchik said, since Satmar Rebbe came to America, everyone became fromer. I also became fromer because of Satmar Rebbe. So that was a very interesting approach. So when it comes to kashrus of macholim, in this week's Parshas Reeh, talks about kashrus, we know, and it gives over, we call Sefer Dvarim, the classical title of Sefer Dvarim is Mishnah Torah. In fact, on Leil HaShana Rabbah, we read the whole Sefer Dvarim and we call it Mishnah Torah. That's where the English name Deuteronomy comes from. Deuteronomium, Deutero means the second, and nomium means the law. So second Torah, the repetition of the Torah. And so in Parshas Shmini, the Kedushas Levi brings a very interesting thing. The drasha only really works on what it says in Shmini, but the idea is the same, nonetheless, and also has a kosher to the Bali Lula tonight. So in Parshas Shmini it says, "Vaydaber Hashem Moshe v'Aharon daber b'nei Yisrael leimor aleihem." It says that Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Aaron HaKohen, and he said, "Speak unto the Bnei Yisrael in order to say to them." So that seems to be superfluous. He's already say to them. What is this in order to say to them? Says the Kedushas Levi, brings from the Ramban. The Ramban says that, like we say in English, you are what you eat. Whatever you're affected by the foods you eat. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu would only nurse from his mother. The Medrash brings that they brought him to many different Mitzri women, and he refused to nurse until his own mother came, and then he nursed. And why? It says that this mouth that was destined, that the Shechina should speak from him, it could only have its nutrition from a kosher source. It's interesting because in halacha it's the opposite. The halacha is, but this is before Matan Torah, the halacha is that a Goyish woman could nurse a Jewish baby, but a Jewish woman could not nurse the child of a Avodah Zarah because megadol a child of ben Avodah Zarah. But I don't know if by ger toshev mistama wouldn't be such a din. But anyway, the point is that the Ramban brings that we only eat animals that are sweet, gentle animals, a shefala. We always, a lamb, a cow is a gentle animal. We don't eat, the davar acher is a very vicious animal. That the goyim like to eat it, but it's a very vicious animal. It could. They used to say that the gangsters, if they want to get rid of a body, they throw it to those animals, and they eat up everything. The bones would be nothing left. It's such a vicious animal, more vicious than maybe a crocodile or anything. And yet people eat that, but by us we can't eat it because you are what you eat. So and also, like we said, like the Medrash says this about Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Navi Yoel, who's the name of the Bali Lula, the Satmar Rebbe's name was Yoel. Navi Yoel brings the third parak of the Sefer Yoel that your children, your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Old men and young men will see visions. That we're all going to be Nevi'im when Mashiach comes. And so, if we're going to be Nevi'im, so we have to keep kosher. If we eat not kosher, it's going to stare a little bit that will be Nevi'im. So that's why it says, Leimor Aleihem, that the purpose of the laws of kashrus is in order that we should be able to to hear that God should speak to us, that we should be able to hear prophecy. So there's a famous Teshuvah from Satmar Rebbe where someone asked him. It's in the beginning of the Shalos and Teshuvahs Divrei Yoel, that someone asked him, Rebbe, I did such a big Aveira and I don't know what to do. I want a tikkun. And the Rebbe gave him certain advice. In the end, he said, we say bracha 3 times a day, every weekday. Baruch Ato Hashem Chanan Hamar B'Lusleach. We have to believe that Kodesh Baruch Hu could forgive anything. If we don't believe the koyach of slicha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can forgive us, we're making a bracha levatala. When we say Baruch Ato Hashem Chanan Hamar B'Lusleach, we have to believe that Hashem is gracious and He's abundant in forgiveness, because we say the words. It can't just be lip service. We have to mean it, or else it's bracha levatala. And so too, I don't know about you all, but I didn't always keep kosher. So maybe you all are going to be prophets, and I'm going to be stuck outside the mechitza because when I was a kid, we used to eat at McDonald's because that's what So Baruch Hashem's most of my life been better, but we never know. Sometimes you could even there was a story a few years ago in Muncie. They were feeding tarfus. So who knows? We all need a tikkun on that. So we believe, of course, Baruch Hashem Chanan Amar B'Lusleach, and like Satmar Rebbe brought that we have to believe that, and we have to take that to heart. But there are always tikkunim. We like tikkunim in Klal Yisrael. It's an interesting thing. By Shalashudas, it says there's in the Nusach Sfard Sidurim, it says that the schus of Shalosh Sudas Elu. Yisukun Mashabgamti Besudas Rishus Machus Asuras. That the schus of eating on Shabbos the 3 meals, and so by Shalashudas we ate the 3rd meal, we were mekayim all 3 sudas, in addition to all the other things that Chazal say that were saved from Melchamas Gog and Magog and Chevli Mashiach and V'chulu V'chulu. It's a tikkun, B'chlal, eating on Shabbos, oining Shabbos, a tikkun on Machos Asuras. So if that's the case, we can say, based on what the Kedushas Levi says, that therefore eating on Shabbos is since it's a rectification for eating not kosher, so therefore eating on Shabbos is an act that is a preparation, therefore, for Nevuah. And so when we're eating on Shabbos, we eat the kugel, whatever, we have to think we're putting in a big investment. When we eat the herring, we eat the challah, whatever we eat the cholent. We're investing in that great day that the Navi Yoel says that we're going to be prophets, we're going to be Nevi'im, and so even if you don't need a tikkun of machalos asura, still the tikkun is there. It's a gevaldig thing. It's what we can invest in. So in Parshas Reeh, it says very interesting. Satmar Rebbe brings from his father, from the Kedushas Yontif, that when it says Re'ei Anochi Noisum Fnechem Hem Bracha Kol Bracha Asher Tishmu, that he brings the Kedushas Yontif brings the Gemara in Shabbos, very famous Gemara, about Malam B'Kodesh V'Lemarinin, the Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel about Ner Chanukah, and so he says essentially that it's the same thing. They're just seeing 2 sides of the same coin. Because it was Surmerav Asay Tov, we have to get rid of the klipa and embrace that which is holy, and embrace the light. So he says there that Beis Shammai saw it that by going from 8 down to 1, it's destroying the klipa. But Beis Hillel says that by going up 1 to 8, we're being moisif in kedusha, we're adding to the holiness, and so therefore that memela will chase away the impurity. And so Satmar Rebbe says, based on what his father says, we know we paskin like Beis Hillel. And so therefore we have to focus on the positive things. And that's a gevaldige thing that we have of eating on Shabbos. That's the bracha, Asher Tishmu, that when we keep this bracha and we do things right, we'll be zoicha, not only that because we listen to the Torah, will receive a bracha, but the bracha will be also because we keep the Torah and we're moisif in kedusha, and that memela will get rid of all the tumah. Then we'll be zoicha to Asher Tishmu, that we'll hear Taka when Mashiach comes. We'll all be Nevi'im, and hopefully, if I can do Teshuvah, I might be included with you all who will be big Nevi'im. Rabbi Chanan Mikasher, Mitzvah Baruch Hu.